Welcome to Zero Hit Points Favorite 5, the title we've given the thing that we do every year. I'm Ryan Miller. He's the person of the year to talk about his games of the year. It's the year of the year. Matthew Amberg.
2016 for life.
That's the embodiment of 2016. Matthew Amberg. The groaner.
What a year.
2016. 2016's groan of the year. Matthew Amberg. We are going to talk about our favorite 5 games that came out this year that we played. That maybe didn't come out this year. I don't know actually how it's going to happen. We play it fast and loose, everybody.
We don't really follow rules. We make them up as we go, and then we break those just a moment after we've decided that is the rule. So
we're rule breakers.
We're rule jurors.
And just for fun, at the top of the show, we have our own little disclaimer here. We are not in this climate of so many games of the year, so many game of the year podcasts, so many websites, and just people on the street yelling games out loud.
You're just driving down the road and somebody yells, "Game of the year!"
We don't play a lot of games, as many games as any of those people. And add to that the fact that I had a horrible case of work diarrhea where I couldn't play games for like months. That was I can't even remember all of it. It's just like it's a fugue. But we play enough to have a favorite and talk about 4 other ones. These are, I don't know about you, but I'm not putting these in any order except for my favorite, really.
Yeah, the favorite I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody.
Or will it?
No, it won't be. What a year this has been, though. What a year we've had. We've had some pretty interesting games. We've had a lot of interesting a lot of interesting interactive entertainment this year.
What a great year for games, and not for just about everything else.
You know what? Accurate. I mean, games and movies. I would say movies were pretty good this year. I think we had some pretty stellar cinema, but
true.
Yeah, pretty
also,
much everything else.
Do we do a top 5 movies?
Oh man, that would be really hard. I'd have to actually.
It would be too hard. Yeah, it would take too much time.
It would. Yeah.
Games are easy. Like most of them suck. So whatever.
Yeah, they're all terrible. I mean, you already know that if it was made by Ubi, it's not involved. So yeah, that's not. That's like one whole massive.
Top 5 Ubisoft games of the year.
We love Ubisoft.com.
So
Vivendi.
Okay, how do we want
corporate buyout?
Top 5 Vivendi games of 2017.
They're all Ubisoft games.
How do we want to do this? We want to. I think in the past we've kind of gone back and forth.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll talk about 4 of these, no particular order, and then we'll yell at each other about the game that we like the most this year.
Okay, so let's do this. I've got one that's on my list that I think might be on your list. So let's see if these connect here. Quantum Break.
Yeah, what we should just have the same list. Yeah.
I don't know why you're not looking at mine. Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Let's see here. Yep.
Quantum Break did everything I wanted a Remedy game to do. It was a fun story. The acting, the voice acting, and the visuals were fantastic. Some really interesting gameplay elements. I liked it a lot. I didn't have a lot of complaints about it, and I fully am. I was one of those people that was. I loved the addition of the quote unquote TV show. While the show itself was definitely not the best thing in the world.
the one downside
while the show itself was not as strong as it could have been, very obviously. The idea behind it, the execution of the stories and how they interacted between the gameplay, the cinematics, and then the actual TV show, I loved it. It was a really well done, well put together piece of gameplay and interactive entertainment.
Of interactivity. Yeah. No, it is on my list too. Like, so, and I did this a little bit last year. It makes it easy for me if I pit some games against each other, because I do try to have a list it's fairly representative of what I played as well. I don't want like 5 FPSs on here. So a lot of times for each of these, I kind of pitted one against the other. And for me this year, it was Quantum Break or Recore. basically is what I had to choose from. And I did love ReCore. I'm not going to say I didn't, but you're absolutely right. Quantum Break did everything I wanted it to do. It's full of caveats, sure. Like you have to let yourself go with Quantum Break. Like I feel like we might be a little bit in the minority here. Like that game didn't sell great. I don't think it reviewed particularly great either.
This
overall.
is a game that for me, and I think this probably kind of fits for you too a little bit. It lives and dies by a huge chunk of it comes from the fact that it's Remedy. It's a Remedy game. It feels like a Remedy game, and we've talked about this a billion times. I have no problem saying I love that company. I do. I love the way they write. I love the way they put their games together. And if this game is not made by Remedy and doesn't have their sensibility, yeah, it might not be as successful for me. But because of that, that's a huge reason it is.
Sure. I mean, and we talk about that not in so much a fanboyish way, but in that it comes through in their game. Like the level of polish, the way the story is delivered, the caliber of the story, which, yeah, the TV shows were bad, man. Like they're the amount that you need to let yourself go a little bit with Quantum Break to enjoy it, maybe higher than some others. Yeah, sure. Okay. The game itself, I wouldn't say so. Like I think it's perfectly solid, and I loved the powers that they gave you and how it interwove with the story. Totally freaking cool, man. Like enjoyable beginning to end. Absolutely. Wanted to see where the story went, like all that stuff for sure. I loved the idea of the TV show as well, and I watched them beginning to end. But they're weak, man.
Execution lacking.
Yeah.
Although,
so
maybe whoever made them
let yourself go on that stuff. Like, have no problem putting this in my favorite 5 of the year. Like,
yeah,
good stuff.
Agreed.
The next game that's not in order that I put, and I'll try to also grab one that might be on your list.
It will probably be.
What came from my next matchup, Titanfall 2 or Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm not done with Infinite Warfare yet, and I'm still glowing about that campaign. Yeah. But if we're talking about favorite games,
mm-hmm.
Stuff that feels good in your hands, it's Titanfall pretty handily.
I debated. It is not on my list.
Really? All right. Okay.
Nothing against it too.
That's the next one on my list. It does in no world does it have the polish of Infinite Warfare. But the gameplay is there. The movement is still absolutely there. Like that's a game. You strip everything else away. Like you put these two games next to each other. And probably almost any FPS this year. I'm gonna say that I played at least. Titanfall 2 is the one I want to play more of. Like that's the one that feels the best. The movement feels the best. It still feels like that evolution of the FPS that they started on with Titanfall 1 and are still killing it with Titanfall 2.
Yeah, so. The gameplay was great. It had one of my favorite levels of the year because of the time travel mechanic thing. That was fantastic. We talked about where I felt the game story-wise fell short, but overall gameplay-wise, it felt amazing. The one difference I think you and I have here is while I have no problem playing it multiplayer, I really have no drive to go back to it at all. Like I have no interest in playing the multiplayer. I have no real interest in replaying the story again. Like that's a game that if you were to play it multiplayer,
I had fun replaying the story to get the collectibles. Like I've been through that campaign 2.5 times probably. And
yeah, I can go back and finish out some of the collectibles. I had started that, so I'm a good chunk through it. But that game, I really liked it. There was the more I thought about it, and I actually had a conversation with Sliptide about this just the other day. The more I thought about it, the more I again love the game. I just don't want to go back to it. Like there's nothing pulling me back to it, and the multiplayer bums me out because I liked the multiplayer in the first game. We had a lot of fun with it.
But that's not our thing, man. Like
especially in that game. I mean, that game is definitely not my forte in regards to FPS shooting. So
right, like we were doomed never really to go back to that, anyways. But it's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I think it's an improvement on Titanfall 1.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's not like I still feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah,
even just playing the campaign and what little we did play of the multiplayer. Like I'm happy with the money I spent, and it's still. Like
I am never happy that I've spent money, But in this case, I'm not upset that I don't feel I wasted it. Absolutely. I don't feel like, I feel like that, like I got my full, my dollar's worth out of it and I'm okay with it. Yeah.
But you're right. It's the multiplayer is a big part. So we should definitely consider that. But yeah, I mean, I would love more reasons to go back and play that too. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I like to play a lot of games, not one for a long time.
Unlike me. So this is a game. My next one, again, no particular order. I kind of went back and forth on this one, and it was a tie for me. And I kind of, it's a little bit of a cop out. And part of the reason that I kind of am back and forth on it is Rocket League was part of it. Even though it came out last year, it didn't hit the Xbox until this year. And that's when I first played it. I loved Rocket League. Love Rocket League. But that kind of this is where I had to fight. I had a battle. And it was
Rocket League is not on your list.
Between two completely different games, but they're the games that stuck with me the most. And Rocket League should be on my list. It would be like 5B or whatever, you know, like if I could do that.
Yeah, we call that 6, but that's cool. No,
but XCOM 2. That game was just like Titanfall. It was a great FPS. It was cool to have machines. It was like Titanfall in the sense that everything that was great about the first game, they improved on and made better in the second game. The squad dynamics were better. The aliens were more interesting. The maps were more varied. The way you dealt with things and how the game played out was just phenomenal. I had a ton of fun building my characters and watching you tear through aliens as if they were paper mache and you were just a hot buttered knife. Just fatty and delicious. So XCOM 2, I just can't leave this one off my list. And as much as I love Rocket League, XCOM 2 was a game that for any person that enjoys even a modicum of strategy, this is a game I recommend and say you try XCOM. It was fantastic.
Rocket League also got cut from my list.
Did it? Yeah.
Like just barely. Yeah. Like I was again. There's like a 6th place where Rocket League and Lego Dimensions were going up against each other because they also both came out last year.
Sure.
But also came out this year. Like Lego Dimensions had a bunch of level packs that I got into that came out this year and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I ended up cutting both of those. I cut that fight entirely.
And Rocket League is a hard one to leave off because I mean we had a lot of fun tipping.
We did, man. Yeah, for sure. Like that. It's on my top list of all time.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just
totally.
not this year.
It's not top 10. Yes. Guaranteed this game is on there, but top 5.
Sure.
It's just not.
Yeah. No.
All right. So what you got for me?
All right.
What's next?
I don't think
hit me, baby.
This one's on your list at all.
It's definitely not. I guarantee the next game I have, you don't have.
Good year for mobile games. For me, it came down to Super Mario Run, Pac-Man 256.
Don't even say. If you say Pokemon, I'm going to smack you.
And Pokemon Go. It's okay, but this is check it. Look which one won, because this is what I had to choose from. Right, Super Mario, like I said, fantastic. Super Mario Run, fantastic game. Like I might be benefiting a little bit from the thing I do where I keep my distance from like with GTA 5. Like I love GTA 5, never played a GTA before. So whereas people were like GTA 5's good, but kind of, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is fantastic. What are you talking about? Like I see what you've been talking about since San Andreas now. Like I benefited a lot with that game from never having played one before. Super Mario Run, I think a little bit of that is happening as well.
Sure.
Like, I've kept my distance from Mario for a bit, and like I can see that sensibility coming out more than I probably could had I been, playing Mario games for the past 10 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pokemon Go, though.
Pokemon Go away.
It is not a better game than Super Mario Run. Probably not even than Pac-Man 256, actually, which I love that game. That's in there because it needs to be in there. It was a fight.
I considered Pac-Man 256 as well, actually.
But Pokemon Go was something all of my family played, my daughter included, which she's 7. You know, this isn't a thing that's happened before,
Sure.
maybe ever. And we did it as a family. You know, we went to the park where my kids got to play while me and my wife sat together and did fun Pokemon Go things for, 50% of the time and just hung out for the rest of the time. Like, great. The collection aspect to it, I went to a gym like maybe 3 times. Like I didn't get into that part of it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
This is a 0 hit points top 5, not your family's top 5.
Super Mario Run's a better game.
I'm really glad that Evelyn and Gray had a good time on Pokemon. Gee, I'm glad they're part. No,
Super Mario Run was the winner for several hours today while I was doing this list.
No, your reasoning for it makes complete sense, and it's the exact reason why it's not on my list. Because while I had fun with it, and I did do the family stuff, like Ian and I went out, and Beth and I went out a couple times, it wasn't the phenomenon in my household that it was for you, and a huge part of that. Like, if Daisy were younger and into it, probably would have been a huge difference. Same thing with Ian. If he were younger and really into it, Ian's super into it, but he was only here like 2 days or whatever. So
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you can build that out into the phenomenon it was everywhere. Like, that was pretty cool being a part of that and seeing that happen and seeing everybody going to the park and seeing it full of freaking people. Yeah, their faces were in their phones, but
those 2 weeks were amazing.
It was really cool. And yes, this is all outside the game stuff. So on the one hand, I went back and forth on that forever. Like, Super Mario Run is a better game. But we're talking game here. Like, I chose Titanfall 2 over Infinite Warfare because we're talking game here.
Here's before you even finish. Here's where number one, we are beholden to freaking nobody. I don't care that Kotaku's job is to do this and that they want. No, that game is a game, and it's a game that became a social game for you and your family. It's a game. It may not be the most game, but it's still something. And anybody who says differently can suck my beehole. How I feel about that.
If you're under the impression that Pokemon Go isn't something, get out.
It is.
Right?
I don't even like it, and I think he's a fool for putting it on his list. But I'll support him till the end.
Pokemon Go's not on your list.
No, not even close. It didn't even make my list of games I played this year because I hated it so much. No, it's on there, but it did not. It was never in contention. My next game was a game that I still think you should play this.
Okay.
I'm a little bummed that you haven't actually, but Super Hot. That game was so good, man. It was a unique game. It was a unique take on a genre that is always fledgling in regards to how to make it something different. Every FPS is every FPS, and it's hard to differentiate yourself in a genre that is so flooded. And Super Hot did it not only with the look, that aesthetic of everything being white with the bad guys and the bad guys being red, the bullets being black, and that's it. And the mechanic, the simple movement mechanic of they can't move until you move. And if they fire a bullet, you need to get out of the way, or you need to use your sword to cut it out of the sky or whatever. And it was on top of all of that, the overarching narrative that they give you, where you're not only you're hacking the game, you're doing stuff in like a DOS prompt, and then there's these little extra bits where you're seeing yourself from the view of inside the game. It was just brilliant, really solid game, and I had to put it on my list. I had to.
You did have to, just as I had to buy it last week while it was on sale.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah, no, there's in no world was I not going to play that game, but
I'm glad you got it. It's
Yeah.
I really think, achievement wise, it's going to be a challenge. But this is a game that
whatever. That rises above for sure. That's one of the games. It's one of the must plays.
Well, and this is one though that I think in particular for you, I'm actually really excited, and I hope that you'll do a little streaming with this game in particular when you're doing the achievement tests. Or achievement attempts because it's a really unique way of doing it. It's similar to that, like the what was it Bastion with the rewind mechanic and stuff, where you're gonna have a moment to braid. That's what I'm thinking of. But you're gonna have time to stop for a second and look and figure it all out, and then every time you play the level, it's the same level. That doesn't necessarily make it easier. Like, just because you know where they're coming from doesn't necessarily make it easier.
I'm gonna play it. I got it. I'm gonna play it. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I mean, this was a bad moment in this year. I did not play as many games as I should have, as I wanted to.
Neither of us did.
I put Pokemon Go on my games of the year list, and you put Super Hot. I'm human garbage.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, let's go ahead and let's raise you to a different echelon then, because these last two games that we both have, we both know what they are. I'm sure the viewers know what they are, and for the one person that's listening and is like, who the hell are these guys and why am I still listening that you didn't know? Here they come. So what's your next one, Ryan?
So we both definitely put Overwatch, right?
100%. There's no way that was gonna be leaving.
Yeah, serious. In the universe where I put Overwatch and you didn't, like, it's the bad timeline. Oh. It's something real wrong.
Get a hold of Abed quick.
Biff is definitely in charge of the city.
Wait, I think we are in the bad timeline then.
Oh, dang it!
Oh, man.
Overwatch is one of the best games ever. Am I right?
I personally, it is one of my favorite FPSs of all time.
You're eminently more qualified here because you played Team Fortress 2 forever.
I did.
Still, even, or like you're in your top 10 of all time, maybe, right?
TF2, yeah. TF2 definitely is in my top 10 of all time, for sure. I think TF2 earned it, and I think Overwatch is very, very likely to be there.
Is Overwatch better than Team Fortress 2?
They're different games. I can't ever say that it's better. No, I can't. It's a different like.
They're not that different.
No, they're very different.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I'm wrong.
I've never won an argument like that. That was
in
exciting.
the ways that Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 are the same.
Is Overwatch the better version?
Yes.
Overwatch is, at this point, the version I would prefer to play, yes.
Oh, man, look at that.
It's harsh, man. I spent so much time in TF2, and I love those maps. I love those characters. I love those voice actors. That game, it's a very different game. It really, really is.
And it's an older game. But Overwatch is an evolution. Like, let's hope it's better than that in a lot of ways, right?
Sure. Overwatch nailed it from out of the gate. They had me, they did everything they possibly could to go, hey, you want this game? With that opening cinematic that we first saw with Winston, Tracer, Reaper, and Widowmaker in the museum,
bring it all in, cinematics,
through
anything related to that game.
Rolling into the comic strips, which I also have very much so enjoyed, including the motion versions, which make them way more enjoyable.
I just saw that. Yeah, those just come out or something?
No, apparently they've been out forever and just...
Oh, all right. Cool.
Never... Yeah, exactly.
I don't play games.
The characters, the voice actors, like all of it. It all came together. And on top of that, the thing that kind of puts the cherry on top for me is that you have people like... Well, you formerly had Chris Metzen, and you still have... Jeff Kaplan, who comes out and you can see and hear how much they care about the game, the lore, the community, and they want it all to work, together. They want it to be a symbiotic thing, and I think they're doing a great job with it. The gameplay is phenomenal. Yes, of course, there are going to be characters that are going to piss you off, and you're going to have bad games, and you're going to complain, but at the end of the day, man, that game has some stellar balance, and I love it. I love the look of it.
I don't disagree with one thing you said. That game, coming from a very different perspective, I played Team Fortress 2, not for an extended period of time. I like Team Fortress 2 quite a bit, like for the same reasons. Didn't get into it near the way that you did. Like didn't understand meta. Like, I'm a child before you when it comes to that. Like,
well, and even TF2 though. Keep in mind, TF2 like meta became more important after the MOBA stuff, and that's definitely more of a hero thing as opposed to TF2. You just
and
have
certainly
your
not in the orange box, which is where I played it. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, very different perspective. Like still not getting into the meta as much, as still not being my thing.
Yeah.
Overwatch is amazing. Like the way it's balanced. Everything you said. I'm not going to repeat it, but everything you said and everything that it does in that way is freaking great. That is a great game. And yes, again, I'm probably benefiting from not having played MOBAs, not having played Team Fortress 2 a lot,
very possibly.
Shooters a lot, online a lot. A lot of this might be new to me, but I get the feeling it's done pretty freaking amazingly in Overwatch.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, put the world on top of that. They're nailing those shorts, watching those animations, like.
Yeah, like how much that was I absolutely give them the thumbs up for seeing what Valve did and seeing how people reacted to the Meet the Team trailers, and they took it a step further because
for sure they're taking cues. Yeah,
and all of those videos that Valve did for Team Fortress, right? They're amazing. They're super funny. They fit in with the world. They're great, but they don't necessarily truly build an actual narrative and a world. They build I guess they build a world, but they don't build like
they're vignettes.
Yes,
and not.
Whereas
not of an overarching, like not of a.
There's not they're mercs with a base story of that's been built up in comics, whereas Overwatch has an actual story to it. There's a real thing.
It's coming from a world, like that pervades each video and gives back to the game. Like you see the characters use their ults in the videos. Like it's cool, man.
It is. It's really cool. And Overwatch is a game that I do not see myself leaving in the near future.
No, I'm gonna keep. I don't play it nearly as much, but for a multiplayer thing, like I'm going back to it.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. There's no reason in no world do I really like that game, but in this, the now proven bad timeline.
Yeah, clearly
I do.
Something about
it. In fact, this is. I've been talking about games I've been putting up against each other, like that's kind of how I've been figuring out some of the games to put on my list.
Yeah.
This was against nothing. This went up against nothing.
Yep, same for
me.
me.
I had nothing to put this against, to think about this in terms of. It was just there, obviously, and not only that, very heavily, it was a conversation. If this went up against anything, it was my number one game. Like, which is
our number one game.
For both of us, the same.
It is the same.
Doom. That's how good Overwatch was. It almost dethroned Doom. That's the most I can say about it.
I will tell you the one reason I knew going into this why Doom was 1 and Overwatch was 2. And it totally strictly comes down to the fact that Doom had a single player campaign. It was based around a single player campaign. It's the fact that if Overwatch had a single player campaign that was really good, or even something to that was even mediocre.
No, you're right.
That would have made me argue it. But
yeah,
but this one
might have pushed it over the top for me. In fact,
yeah. But as much as I loved Overwatch, and I think Overwatch has amazing controls and it feels great, Doom, best FPS I've played in years. Like just straight up best FPS. Period.
Yeah.
That game, the weapons felt good. They felt strong. They felt like the sound, like that the audio effects they had for the guns felt good. It sounded great. When you when you shot those guys, when you shot the demons, like it felt like there was some punch to some of those things, man. You'd get one of those shotguns and shoot one of those demons and watch them flying across the screen. It was pretty great. The level design was stellar. The one of the games, I can honestly tell you, I had a delightful time thinking about it in the back, going back and getting the collectibles, and like the little dolls were super fun.
Also,
you know,
collectibles done right.
Yeah. And you know, and taking, and again, just taking the base idea of Doom, putting it out again in what is essentially a remix of the story, the overall original story, and making it so beautiful and so just solidly put together, where even if the story in this case kind of falls apart, it almost doesn't matter because
I don't even agree with that.
No, and I don't think it does. But I'm saying even if it did, the fact that you know the base idea of you're on Mars, they're demons, kill them. That's all you need to know with Doom.
That's all you need to know. But then to like take everything you said and then pretend that it's all woven together near perfectly. Shoot, I don't even like everything they built out about it, like the level design, and bringing how you played Doom 1, you know, running around the room, strafing around the room, just firing like nuts. That 3D puzzle of trying to stay alive, and then adding like the melee mechanic to it, where you're going in to get more ammo when you run out of ammo,
the
coming back
kills.
out.
Yes.
The glory kills. That's right. Yeah. So freaking good.
And
like,
and actually
perfectly nailed. Like what would you change about that? What would you change about that?
I wouldn't. And you actually hit
nothing.
You hit on one of the more brilliant parts of the game that I loved was the way their kind of quote unquote progression worked in regards to how you were able to stay alive, especially when you played on higher difficulties. Was you do the glory kills enough to where you find the runes, so you get the runes, you do the glory kill that's associated with the rune or whatever. And then now every time you kill them, you get more ammo, you get health, you get invisible, you get whatever. That was a really great mechanic to throw in there because it made the risk
woven in, right? It's not just like a progression system for progression's sake.
And
you're not just watching a number go up.
And it makes the risk reward factor of, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go get that glory kill. It makes it worth it and super fun. Like I loved it.
It's really good. It's hard to even talk about.
Yeah. It brings me so much joy. I cry about it now and again. At night, sometimes I think, like, oh, it was such a good day. What am I going to do? I know Overwatch is good.
The story, like the actual story things they do give to it, like they turn the whole hell thing into, like remember it was the corporation that was like drilling, and they have this whole like a hell, like satanism.
They had a hell mouth, yeah.
But then it's like corporatized, like in a way that they're like, you know, level 3
and people are
acolytes
volunteering to become demons.
Yeah. Oh man, and how that was built out by the collectibles as well. Even just the item descriptions.
The game
everything.
Doom was great, partially because it didn't take itself seriously. It was not self-serious in any way. It was totally.
No.
It was a goof. It was a black comedy, and you knew it going into it very quickly. And I loved it. Loved it.
Is there anything else we can say about it?
The only thing we can say about it is if you haven't played it, freaking message me and I'll buy you a freaking copy of it at this point, because it's just stupid if you haven't. It's so good.
It's a good game.
That by the way, I'm not gonna lie to you. You send me an email, matt@0hitpoints.com, and you tell me that you did not play Doom, and you send me, if you want it on Steam, send me your Steam tag so I can at least look. Send me your Xbox gamer tag or whatever thing you have so I can at least verify that it's not on your stupid trophy list.
Social security number, whatever you got.
And if you do that, I will do that for the first 3 people that send me that information.
Jeez.
I will buy you a copy of Doom, because that is how good the freaking game is.
All right.
Also, nobody's gonna do it, so it doesn't matter.
No, we only do this to see who's listening.
Oh yeah, and by the way, that offer does have a time limit. It ends like February 1, I think is what I'm going to say.
Okay, all right, for a month.
Yeah, we'll give it the month of February.
You're assuming 3 people are going to listen to this within a month.
I'm not assuming anything.
Okay. That's true. You're the whole reason you're putting this out there is 'cause
I'm assuming
you're not out
I'm
anything.
assuming they won't. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to pay for this, but I'm going to. That's a 0 hit point promise.
Prove Matt wrong. For the first 6 people, was it 9 people? For the first 12 people that listened to, hey, it's been a good year. It's been a great year.
It's been an okay year.
That's half true. Yeah, it's not really. But it's been a year. We're at the end of it. This is the last one of those things before it is over.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of goodbye could we give to anybody that's hung out for any amount of time, that's humored us for any amount of time?
Especially since we don't have any humor.
That's given us a review on iTunes, that's been to the website.
What we can do is we can say thank you. We do appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who interacts with us. We appreciate people who listen, subscribe, people who've watched the YouTube videos, show up on the streams, all of you guys and girls and dogs and cats. And
it's no small thing.
we do it because we love video games. We like talking about them. We like playing them. We like having discussions about them and interaction. That's why we go to PAX. That's why we do this. Why we talk. Why we do the streams and stuff. And yeah, I mean, nothing any of you do. Saying hi, saying great job, just saying we listen. We appreciate it. It matters. And thank you.